I've driven a lot of SUVs this year, last year, even 2, 3 years ago because let's be honest, it is the trend. Everybody wants an SUV. Does that mean you have to compromise somewhere? Well, if you have the CX-90, you don't. This is literally my favorite SUV on sale in the market today. So, welcome everybody then to the 2025 Mazda CX-90. Now you're probably wondering, why are you driving the CX-90 again? And I'll answer that, why not? Because I've driven a lot more SUVs, and every time I drive this one, it reinstates my affirmations why this SUV is the one to buy if you have a budget of roughly $60,000 or $65,000. Let's see if this SUV is still the best one out there. So, what's new for the CX-90 for 2025? Honestly, not too much. Well, they didn't have to, because as a platform, as a product, it's so well balanced, so well finished and sorted in every single way. So this is the third time I'm driving the CX-90 and it is still the inline 6. I haven't gotten a chance to drive the plug-in hybrid. This is the top of the line signature variant. The other two times were a maroon car with a white interior. This is a white exterior with a tan interior. And I think this still looks very elegant, very classy, and it is a bit of an NPC spec, so you will merge into traffic much more with this color. But just look at the paint finish, and the arches are also color matched, so they do look very, very good. The wheels look spectacular. They don't need any paint shade. They will look good in every single paint shade that you see the CX-90 in. This has the tan interior, so all the seats are tan. The dash is the same color, but it is an Alcantara suede finish, which I think is very, very unique. You don't see that in cars these days, let alone cars of this price point. So the CX-90 is still a 3-row, which means you have space in the third row as well. The second row is captain seats, so you can accommodate full-size adults and they will be very, very comfortable. The third row, I would say that leave it to kids or shorter adults for shorter journeys. If you do have the third row up, the boot isn't very big as well. Perhaps it can take a few carry-on luggages, but that's about it. So if you do need boot space, you will have to fold the third row down. That's the case with, I think, most of the 3-row SUVs in this segment. And I have to compliment the looks. I think this looks very, very good compared to, say, something like a Telluride or a Palisade, which actually just has been heavily refreshed. We had to get my hands on that. But having said that, I think this is the pick because it combines the blend of looks, features, practicality, and just the way it drives. I know it's a very tall claim, but at this point, I have to say that I feel like there is no 3-row SUV that drives like the CX-90. Be it the engine, which is the 3.3 liter twin turbocharged inline 6, or just the way it handles the driving feel and everything. But again, more on that in the driving part. But just as a whole package, for the money, the value for money package, I think is completely unmatched. And well, I for one know that if I have to buy a 3-row SUV, it would be the CX-90 unmistakably. In fact, not even me, but even like my wife, she absolutely loves the CX-90. That's how good of a product Mazda has made. Now behind the wheel of the CX-90, so this still has the same powertrain as it did before. It has the 3.3 liter turbocharged inline 6 motor that produces about 350 horsepower depending on what octane you put, which is a very Mazda thing. This does have all-wheel drive and it does have an 8-speed torque converter gearbox. So let's see how this SUV drives. Use the super weird shifter, arguably the worst thing according to me in the car. But as you can see, if I am nitpicking over a gear shifter design, then you know that the rest of the car is very awesome. The doors auto lock when you cross 20 kph, and yeah, what can I say, when you even just take that small turn, which I did, you could instantly feel the steering feedback, the weight. Yes, it is definitely very heavy and it might be too heavy for some people, but I absolutely love the weight, the feedback that the steering provides when you drive this SUV. It feels very hefty, it feels very heavy, which obviously it is because it is an SUV, but that assured feeling that you get when you drive this SUV, I absolutely love it. And you don't really get it from, say, something like a Telluride. Now, when you do hit bumps like I did, it is definitely stiff. It's stiffer than a Telluride, a Palisade, or even like a Highlander, because I think that stiffness attributes to the handling this SUV has. Now, I know I've seen many SUV reviews that they're not meant to be corner covers, but the CX-90 breaks all that notions, and it is definitely a corner cover. You can definitely have a lot of fun behind the wheel when you throw it around some corners. I am actually on a corner, and I can tell you exactly what the front wheels are doing. That's how good the steering setup, the chassis setup that Mazda has done it. And you would expect them to probably nail the CX-50 or a Mazda 3 or the MX-5, but for them to make a full-size SUV handle so well, they've really just knocked it out of the park. The driving position is really good. The seats are very nice, comfortable. They've got good comfort, good adjustment for lumbar. They don't have massage at this price point. Maybe if it did have massage, it would have been an even sweeter of a deal, but I'm not complaining. That's not a deal breaker for me, honestly. Oh wow, plane landing. That's how close I am. That's just definitely going to add some visual drama to the video. But yeah, overall I would say, back to the CX-90, is that it's a fabulous package. And the bonus is that if you drive it sanely, even with such a big displacement motor, is that on the highway you can get up to 8.5, 8.8 liters per 100, which I think is really good. In the city I've been averaging 12.5 to 13 liters, which is on the higher side, but all the other competitors like the Palisade, the Telluride, the Highlander, not barring the hybrid versions, they all have similar fuel economy. What can I say? It's just the same thing. You know, I've driven this SUV a few times now, but every time I drive it, I get blown away on how good the package is, and it just reminds me why this is my favorite SUV on the market today. In conclusion then, the 2025 Mazda CX-90, well, the conclusion is going to stay exactly the same like last time, because the car is mostly the same like last time, which means it's a fabulous SUV. Just the way it looks, the way it's packaged, the luxury quotient, and the way it drives. The driving dynamics just blows my mind, how an SUV can drive the way it does. In fact, if you hide the badges, you'll never be able to tell that this is a Mazda, which actually shows how much of a good job Mazda has done building this SUV. For about $65,000 to $70,000 for this top of the line signature variant with the inline 6, I think this is the package to beat. Just every other SUV, I know there are some that are probably way more luxurious, some are more comfortable, some may have been better in reliability, but this mixes all of that and creates the perfect blend for the consumer. And honestly, if I were in the market to buy one, this is the SUV to beat. Not even in its segment, even in higher segments. That's how good it is, and I am absolutely blown away every time I drive the CX-90.